God of War Ragnarok. Freya, Witch of the Woods, the ex-wife of Odin. Mimir reveals the Witch of the Woods to actually be Freya, a goddess. We find out that Freya is the ex-wife of Odin and the mother of Baldur. Baldur is invincible because Freya, having seen a prophecy that Baldur will one day die a needless death, put a spell on him that makes him impervious to pain or any other sensation. Meanwhile, Freya revealed that Atreus is sick is because he's a god who thinks he's immortal. The solution is for Kratos to stop hiding their divinity from Atreus, but Kratos doesn't heed the warning. Kratos and Atreus do battle with Magni and Modi, a showdown that leaves Magni dead. In the scramble, Atreus faints and goes lifeless. To save his son, Kratos has to travel to Helheim and retrieve a troll's heart. Because Helheim is ice-cold, rendering his axe useless, Kratos retrieves his blades of chaos from under their Midgard shack. This is the best scene in the game. It rules so much. Kratos goes into Nordic hell, slays the troll and revives Atreus, then finally tells his son that they're both gods. They're attacked by Modi, who Kratos bests. Atreus kills the wounded Modi, earning the ire of Kratos, who says there was no need to kill the clearly defeated foe. After Kratos and Atreus retrieve Baldur's second eye from the world serpent, they fight Baldur again. A mistletoe arrow that Atreus previously acquired pierces Baldur's invincibility spell, allowing him to feel pain and die. Kratos and Atreus beat him down, but Freya stops them from killing him. But Baldur, angry that Freya's spell restricted him from not only pain but any earthly pleasure, starts strangling his mother. To save Freya, Kratos kills Baldur. He puts him in a chokehold and, before snapping his neck for real this time, utters, "We must be better than this." So in the end, Baldur did indeed suffer a needless death. The mother isn't grateful at all about her life being saved. Freya swears she'll get vengeance on Kratos if it's the last thing she ever does. Norse mythology. In Germanic mythology, Frigg, Old Norse, Freya, Old High German, Freya, Old Norse, Frey, Langobardic, and Frigg, Old English, is a goddess. In nearly all sources, she is described as the wife of the god Odin. In Old High German and Old Norse sources, she is also connected with the goddess Fulla. The English weekday name Friday, etymologically Old English Frijdstay, bears her name. Frigg is described as a goddess associated with foreknowledge and wisdom in Norse mythology, the northernmost branch of Germanic mythology and most extensively attested. Frigg is the wife of the major god Odin and dwells in the wetland halls of Fensalar, is famous for her foreknowledge, is associated with the goddesses Fulla, Lofn, Hlin, and Gna, and is ambiguously associated with the earth, otherwise personified as an apparently separate entity Jr., Old Norse Earth. The children of Frigg and Odin include the gleaming god Baldur. Due to significant thematic overlap, scholars have proposed a particular connection to the goddess Freya. After Christianization, mention of Frigg continued to occur in Scandinavian folklore. In modern times, Frigg has appeared in modern popular culture, has been the subject of art, and receives modern veneration in Germanic neopaganism. Freya's Borhildisvini was once a man named Otter who has a close bond with her. Otter wanted to learn more about his family, but he needed a disguise, so Freya turned him into a boar named Hildisvini. Together, they went to meet with Hyndla, the giant seer, to find out about his past. Freya has a necklace called Brisingamen that the dwarfs made for her. She came across the dwarves while traveling the realms and noticed their amazing craftsmanship. Freya had them make a beautiful necklace for her. The dwarves would only give her a necklace if she agreed to spend some time with them for a while. When Freya returned to Asgard, word about what Freya did reach Odin's ears, which angered the All-Father. The necklace Brisingamen was stolen. Freya also fell in love with a god known as Odr. Odr had made the gods angry on several occasions until one day they had enough and turned him into a sea serpent. Despite his appearance, Freya still loved him, so Odin had them separated so they couldn't be together. Odin was killed when a ship saw the giant serpent. Freya was sad when she learned about his death. She begged for Odin and the other gods to let him into Valhalla. Even though he didn't die in battle, Odin decided to let him in and became a god. But soon Odin and the other deities learned that Odin still disliked the gods and had a problem with following orders, so he was cast out of the Hall of the Gods. This broke Freya's heart and made her dislike Odin even more. Freya looked for her love in Midgard, where he was banished, and elsewhere in the 9 realms, but could never find him. In the God of War series. Prior to the events of God of War, little is known about her childhood, aside from being the daughter of Njord, as well as the sister of Freyr. Freya had been a leader of the Vanir gods during the Asur-Vanir War and eventually agreed to marry Odin in order to bring peace between the two sides. Freya clearly did not enjoy this, due to her own distaste for the Asur, especially after they unjustly imprisoned, tortured and nearly killed her brother Freyr. During that time, she became the queen of the Valkyries. Also sometime during her marriage to Odin, Odin began to learn the ways of Freya's magic and began using it for unjust purposes. When Hrimthur offered Odin to build Asgard new walls to replace the old ones, he requested to receive only a private audience with Freya should he complete the project within 2 years in return. When he won the wager, Hrimthur whispered something to her with Mimir, suspecting that he had embedded some weakness into the walls and passed this knowledge on to Freya, before being betrayed and killed by Thor. While she and Odin were acknowledged by Mimir to be genuinely in love, Freya eventually chose to leave Odin due to his unjust ways. Because Freya broke the marriage off from Odin, she therefore incurred the Allfather's wrath and spite. Out of fear and feeling deeply betrayed, Odin cursed her to prevent her from ever leaving Midgard in order to stop her making amends to her own kind, as many of the Vanir saw her marriage to Odin as a betrayal, and the curse also made it impossible for her to harm any living creature, through either physical or magical means. Additionally, he stripped Freya of her Valkyrie wings and hid them in an unknown location. Some saw this as petty cruelty on Odin's part, for Freya was a warrior in spirit and the curse would force her to do nothing else but live in isolation. He also didn't want her getting credit for anything in Asgard, so any worthy deed she accomplished was attributed to Frigg, which was what he had called her out of affection. The only thing she cherished from her marriage with Odin was their twin sons, Baldur and Hoda. Though she loved him dearly, a prophecy foretelling his death as an unnecessary one drove her to find a way to prevent it. With her fears controlling her, Freya placed a powerful spell on her son, granting him invulnerability. She hoped that the spell would spare her son from death and herself from the pain of loss. However, her spell left Baldur unable to physically feel anything at all, including taste and other pleasures. Full of fury and resentment, Baldur demanded his mother to remove the spell, but she claimed she was unable to and tried to assure him that what she had done was for the better. Baldur was not convinced or moved by her motherly love. He attempted to kill her but couldn't bring himself to do so, and instead vowed that he would hate and never forgive her, much to her sorrow. To this day, she remains blind to her son's desire to physically feel again and that her own fears brought about the torment Baldur endures. In fact, she lied to her son that she didn't know how to break the spell when in fact it was mistletoe, and thus viewed the plant as wicked and sought to destroy it.